Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, we've got Baker's 7 Single Barrel. I walked past this thing so many times before it became a single barrel. I can't tell you how the old one tasted. I started out with Booker's, went to Knob Creek. This thing was kind of priced in between. I didn't know enough about it, so I just kind of left it on the shelf. But when they revamped it and brought out the new bottle, had to give it a try. So glad I did. With that being said, bottle drop, bottle drop, bottle drop. I'm pretty sure it's evident that I'm a Beam fan. I like the Jim Beam single barrel, the Booker's products. I like the Knob Creek single barrel, the non-age stated Knob Creek, the Knob Creek rye, the Baker's products, the Old Tub, Old Granddad, OGD 114. I mean, the list goes on and on. But what happened was my love for Beam came from starting out with Booker's. I said it before, the guy pointed me in that direction, $60 bottle at the time, didn't want to drop that every time I wanted a bottle, went to Knob Creek, fell in love. Knob Creek was great for about the first 7 bottles. Then I would get a hot bottle. Then it would be great again for another 7 bottles. Then I would get a hot bottle. And at the time, I wasn't drinking a lot of hot products. I really wasn't going over 100 proof much at all. I did try the Knob Creek single barrel. I thought it drank just a little too hot at 120, backed it down to the regular Knob Creek, and I was good to go. Walked past this thing time and time again. They switched the label design, switched the bottle up in 2019, turned it into a single barrel. Instant win for the Beam Company. They also have this interactive page that you can go to and you can put in the serial number. The serial number will give you the dump date, the serial number will give you the temperature, the serial number will give you the warehouse, the rick house, everything about this bottle they put on the internet so that you can see it. And they also have it so that you can save it at the end and compare different bottles too. So you can get a single barrel that may be 7 years, 7 months. You can get a single barrel that may be 7 years, 11 months. You can get a single barrel like I have that's another 7 years, 7 months, and they're a completely different serial number, and you can compare the two side by side. I really like the fact that they've got that interactive page. It really makes a difference. You can tell that they really care about the customer experience. I want to get into the nose of this thing because I tasted it and gave it a little test, and it was just a little different from the other 2 Baker's products that I had tried. I mean, the fruits are still there. You get the dried cranberries, you get the apples, you get the apricot, you get the plum, you get pepper, oak. I mean, all of that is still there. I don't get any of the citrus notes. I don't get any of the caramel. I don't get any heavy vanilla notes. And it's funny because when you look at their website, they have, almost like the Penelope does with the Architect project, they have this map and it's kind of laid out and it's got different points of where the flavors are. And they show char and they show vanilla being 2 of the heaviest notes that you pick up. I really don't get a lot of vanilla. It is all fruits, all fruits. Dried cranberry and pepper is what I get the most. Now, we can go to the palate and I'll see if I can pick up some more notes after that. The palate, I wouldn't say those fruits transfer over. And that was one of the issues I was having with it. Now, I did let this sit for about maybe an hour or 2. And when I first cracked it open, nothing from the nose transferred to the palate. Now it's a little different where some of those notes are transferring to the palate, but for the most part, None of the fruit notes, the heavy fruit notes that I was getting out of the first 2 bottles of Baker's I had, are transferring over. That was more toffee, salted caramel, a little bit of leather on the back, and that's pretty much it. Let me go back to the nose. Yeah, dried cranberries and pepper. Those are the 2 dominant nosing notes. Yeah, you do get the barrel jar. You get the toffee, a slight hint of dark chocolate. I'm not getting any of the fruit notes. I'm not getting, when I first had the first 2 bottles, and this one says 7 years, age 7 years, 7 months. The other bottle said 7 years, 7 months, and the very first bottle was almost 8 years. It was 7 years, 11 months. Those 2 packed with fruit punch. I mean, it was ridiculous how fruit forward it was. It was fruit forward, and then it would hit you with that Jim Beam nuttiness on the back end. This right here, barrel char, toffee, salted caramel, slight bit of cocoa, dark chocolate, and then across the back, the leather, and it drops off. This, I'm really not getting a good finish out of this one. I'm not getting a good finish, and I'm not getting a good flavor. You do get some clove. You get clove in the nose and the palate, but that's it. If all Baker's products, and I know that they're single barrel, so they're going to be different, but if all Baker's product tasted like this, wouldn't keep it on the bar. Wouldn't keep it on the bar at all. Let's get into the breakdown. Is it worth the chase? There is no chase for Baker's. Baker's has no chase. It's always on the shelf. They're not going to run out. They're always going to produce it, especially now that it's a single barrel. They don't really have to follow a certain flavor profile, so they don't have to try and batch it together. The single barrel that you get is the single barrel that you get. No more, no less. And I also think that people understand that you can get other Beam products for a cheaper cost, and you might like them a little better. Case in point, Knob Creek small batch, 9 years old, 100 proof, $40 to $49. Excellent. This right here, it's a single barrel, so it's going to vary from barrel to barrel. $59.99, 60 bucks. It's kind of hard to spend that much money when you don't know exactly what you're getting. Knob Creek single barrel at 120 proof. Most Knob Creek single barrels are excellent, but you're going to spend $55 to $59. Knob Creek 12 year. Knob Creek 12 year is an excellent choice, but the price on that one can go between $55 as high as $75. So I think people have other options out there. That's why I don't think Baker's is going to fly off the shelf. Is it worth more than retail? No. Baker's is not worth more than retail. I would pay the $59.99 for it. You guys know my $60 monster, but would I do it again? Yes. Will there always be a bottle on the bar? I like Baker's enough that I think there will always be a bottle on the bar. It is a strong go-to. I think this one right here just may have been a bad barrel. It was a little off profile. The store that's down the street from me, they have 2 on the shelf right now that are over 8 years old, because all Baker's products, as we know, have to be aged for a minimum of 7 years. The one that they have happens to be 8 years and 4 months, or 8 years and 6 months. Either way, it's over 8 years old. So I'm gonna go get that one, pick it up, see how I like it, see if the flavor profile of this one was just off. They're all fruity on the nose. This one was just a little different when it comes to the palate. With that being said, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I had making it. Until next time.